After the factors responsible for the improvement in food resources, let us recall about the importance of improvement in food resources. What are the importance required for improvement in food resources? Why do we improve our food resources? See, it has 5 main points, top leading 5 points. The number 1, we should increase food production without degrading our environment and without disturbing the balances maintaining it. See what happens, to get more and more productivity of animals and to get more and more cultivation of plants, we are improving our agricultural practices and animal husbandry, we for our own welfare. Okay, it's okay, but the others are being also affected by our these practices. Means if to improve, if to reduce the pests in plants, we are using certain pesticides, or to remove some weeds we are using weedicides. The most common weedicides is 2,4-D, 2,4-dichloroethane, and so this pesticides, weedicides, and to remove some unwanted plants, we are, or you can say herbs, we are using herbicides also. So these can be used in a proper amount. What the fertilizers which are manures which are being used, what the fertilizers, pesticides, whatever we are being used, it can be used in a controlled way so that it cannot degrade our environment or cannot pollute our environment, as well as any disturbance must not be done in our nature in the form of any kind of proper imbalance. So to maintain the proper natural balance, nature balance and environmental balance also, our improvement is going on, our improvement must go on to get more and more food in the form of improvement in food resources. Now the second one is, we should do sustainable practices in agriculture and animal husbandry. Over here, the sustainable practices means an economic, it leads with the economic practices, means the investment in reduced quantity and the outcome is in a large quantity. We must invest in very less and we must get as a crop or plants in the form of crop or animal farming in the form of husbandry in a large quantity. So this is economic way. Thereafter, whatever we are applying in food to get food materials, whatever we are applying in our fields and in farming, it cannot be harm to other animals which are found in our nature. Any kind of natural imbalance must not be over there. And finally, the productivity must be in the form of large quantity, either cultivation or husbandry, as well as it must be in a better quality also. So these quantity, quality, natural balances and the economic practices leads to combinedly a sustainable practice, or you can say sustainable practices. Now the third one, we should increase the incomes of people working in agriculture necessarily to combat the problem of hunger, just because the majority of our population depends on agriculture for their livelihood. See, our India is based on the agriculture. The Indian nation is based on agriculture. We people, no matter how much we are rich or poor, but our growth rate, economic growth rate is decided by the dint of agriculture itself. So we must do such practices that the people involved in agriculture, their incomes must be in such a proper or satisfactory amount that at the time of any disaster they could be able to survive from hunger problem, or no matter of any hunger must be raise in their own families. This is the meaning of this third point. Now come to the fourth point. The scientific management practices should be undertaken to obtain high yields from farms. Over here, the scientific management practices means certain whatever tools and techniques biologically we are applied, they must be undertaken in such a way that the finally yields in the form of crops must be grown in a large quantity. See over here, for crop cultivation, we are cultivating our crops in the form of yields, whereas we are having certain animal products in the form of husbandry, in the form of farming, cattle farming. So this is the meaning of this. Now finally in the fifth point, hence for sustained livelihood we should undertake. Finally, to get the sustained livelihood, what should we undertake? We should undertake three things. Number one, mixed farming. Number two, intercropping. Number three, integrated farming practices. So what is mixed farming? Mixed farming means growing of crops and raising for lives. Growing of crops and raising for lives. We are growing crops in a multiple form. Finally, this is called mixed farming. Normally it is being seen that in a particular area of field, so many different types of crops are being cultivated. So this is called mixed farming. Afterward, we are coming towards intercropping. This intercropping leads to the point that the multiple cropping practices involving growing two or more crops in proximity in the same field. If we are doing the cultivation of two or more crops in the same field or same land area, then it comes under intercropping. Over here we can get an example of paddy plants like maize, and in between their beds we are cultivating the cabbage plants. So this is the example of intercropping. Afterward, integrated farming practices. In integrated farming practices, it is a whole farm management. Integrated farming practices, it leads with a whole farm management system which aims to deliver more sustainable agriculture. A kind of management is also required to get the proper agricultural and husbandry activity to get more and more crop productivity and animal productivity. So as a whole, this is called integrated farming practices. Now what comes under integrated farming practices? So integrated farming practices leads with the combined agriculture. What kind of combination does in agriculture? This is like livestock, means cattle farming, poultry farming, fisheries and beekeeping. Livestock starts with cattle farming of different cattle like cow, buffalo, camel, whatever. Poultry, fisheries and beekeeping. Over here, livestock. What is livestock? Livestock, we all know about. In earlier classes we have already studied about it. The domesticated animals, such animals which are being domesticated and raised in an agricultural setting to produce labor and commodities, like to produce their meat, eggs, milk, fur, leather and wool. This meat, eggs, milk, fur, leather and wools, all such are called as the labor, are called as commodities. And if we are getting their own physical labor in our field, like we are utilizing buffalo or oxen in our field while farming, so they are also helpful in labor practices. So all these are collectively called livestock. Afterward, poultry. We are knowing very well that the domesticated fowls or birds such as chickens, turkeys, ducks. See over here, turkeys are bigger in size than chickens, but just little bit smaller than the ducks. They seem like duck, these turkeys. So these chickens, turkeys, ducks and geese, okay, are kept by humans for their eggs, meats and their feathers or fur are collectively called poultry. So by this we could be able to analyze this introductory part of our improvement in food resources, that what kind of poultry, what kind of livestock, what kind of farming being done in our food resource, in our improvement practices to improve the food resources. So that's all about today's class. If any doubt, you please ask right now.